hero worship and Andrew Tate. Up until very recently, I have been a fan of Andrew Tate. The clip that won me over initially was from his fighting years, where he explains why a normal life just doesn't suit him. And after seeing the clip, I became a fan of his instantly.
If you're an intelligent person and you've got a good brain on your shoulders, you can't just sit there bored, you know? So most smart people take the academic route to avoid boredom. They learn, but that's never really interested me either. Although I've always been an intelligent guy and I've always done well academically, it never really interested me. And then I see people climb Mount Everest or jump off buildings or do base jumping, or the guy who jumped from space. People think, what's he doing? He's crazy. I understand, because some people can't live normal lives. Some people cannot just function 9 to 5 office job, get drunk at the weekends. That is not for some individuals, and it's not for me.
I felt like he articulated a feeling that I've had very succinctly about my own life. And doing a little bit of research on his history, I found out the fact that he was from a single parent family and he grew up poor and pursued martial arts as a kid. And so I felt a real kinship to his story because it's very similar to my own. But I was a fan from afar and I chose not to engage with a lot of the rumors and allegations that are around the guy. And I think I did so purposefully because I liked him. But his recent arrest in Romania and the really serious crimes that seem to be alleged against him caused me to do a deeper dive on Andrew and find out if there is any evidence that support these claims. And this is where the new documentary and interviews done by Vice come in. So Vice have been doing a piece on the Tate brothers for a while now, and the guy creating the documentary has actually been embedded in Andrew's crew for a minute. Check this out.
Andrew's invited his mate on our show without my consent. This guy's in our house without my consent. So
he's a well-known folk singer. He's amazing. Matt Shea.
I'm actually not a folk singer at all in the slightest. No, sorry.
What?
No, the truth is I'm actually here to make a documentary about both of you for Vice, and I'm just here to observe and listen and learn the Tate way.
Okay, and it's in this documentary that there is a bunch of interviews by a former worker and victim of Andrew's, where she alleges a lot of crazy abuse which Andrew perpetrates on the young ladies who are working for him. And I find the interview clips in there to be so damning because there is so much footage that I found of Andrew's, of him describing in his own words the methods and mindset he used in order to run his webcamming business. And so I think it gives a lot of validity to what the lady is saying in the documentary. So let's start with Andrew describing the type of business he was running.
I knew some street pimps. I've known them for a long time. Straight street pimping is in fact, no, it's not a completely different game. The psychological aspect is the same. Your goal is to inspire a girl to make money and give you the money. So the way you're going to do that is you have to have some element of influence, and you're going to have that element of influence through her respecting you, looking up to you, and her believing she needs you. And this is extremely important.
There you go. In his own words, he says that he shares a lot of similarities to what a street pimp does. And so this should start to build a picture in your head of what he was doing with these girls. I mean, ask yourself the question, do you think there's such thing as an ethical pimp? I mean, I think that's a hilarious statement in itself. And now the Vice documentary comes in. This is an interview from the victim describing what it was like working for Andrew.
First night that I worked for him, Andrew bought me like 5 bottles of wine. So I got completely drunk because I'd never done webcam work. So I was very, very nervous. Then that night, we were just sitting on the bed and Andrew punched me in my arm. I went to the bathroom and cried. It really, really hurt to have someone just hit me in the arm for no reason. I was very confused. Sorry.
So this is obviously a very serious allegation that he was actually hitting the girl. Now, often what people level at victims like this lady is the idea that she lives in a free society and so she is able to leave. Why didn't she leave?
And also, why didn't she leave? Okay, she said she was hit in the arm. That was the abuse that she described. Why didn't she leave?
Well, Andrew will tell you himself why these girls weren't able to leave.
Girls will be like, well, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave if you don't have every aspect under control. And that's why they don't want to leave, because they're like, oh, well, he has everything, I need him. I have to stay with him, he has everything. It's important, I'm telling you, it's a very important element, that control. You want her to leave and go, well, I don't know the account, I don't have the password to the account, I've never set it up before, I don't know how the banking works, I don't have any of my guys' phone numbers, I have nothing.
So once again, in his own words, he is letting you know that manipulation and coercion are kind of fundamental in order to keep these girls in line and continue to produce content and make money for Andrew. So exactly what kind of manipulation tactics were used? Well, money seems to be a key issue here.
As soon as he handed me my money, I soon forgot about him hitting me and everything else, and it was just like, wow, I've got all this money now. Like, he would just pay me a flat fee of £15 an hour, which back then was fantastic. I was making £5 an hour at my 9-to-5 job. But when you look at the money that I was actually bringing in, it just doesn't even scratch the surface.
Okay, so in building a case for the validity of the interview and what the victim is saying, is there any truth behind the claims? Does Andrew say anything about this process of withholding money and underpaying the girls? Well, there actually is.
So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I'd give them 3, and I'd keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said that the disparity is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, but we had to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50.
Well, there you go. Him saying in his own words how he kept the majority of the money. And in the actual interview or this video series he was doing, he really goes into the fact that he has the girls in the dark in terms of the finances. And so they depend on him completely to understand exactly how the money is coming in and what they're getting paid. And lastly, we have the most egregious bit of abuse that is alleged at Andrew. It's essay. I'm not going to say the term because of YouTube, but this is what the victim had to say about what she witnessed.
He used to strangle us as well. Me and the other girl, we would sleep in the same bed with Andrew, but at this time the girl had a partner, so she was not interested in Andrew at all. And I had gone to the shower, I came back and I noticed he was, like, I saw him raping her.
So there certainly isn't any video evidence of Andrew admitting to something as crazy as that. And this is a super serious allegation, and I can't sit here and say that I know what happened or have any evidence to say that he's done these things. However, there is video footage of Andrew describing his mindset about sex and its necessity to manipulate and exert control over the girls who worked for him.
If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind as opposed to you. And if he controls her mind and you don't control her mind, once she starts to pick it up a bit after a few weeks, a few months, whatever, and realizes how to make money on her own, is she going to stay and keep paying you, or is she going to run off and pay her boyfriend?
Okay, so what do all of these clips prove? Firstly, I think there's certainly something to be said here about the fact that his videos work as his own prosecution, man. There's a lot of content out there of him speaking about tons of these methods that he used to use back in the day. And I think it's clear to say that he had a very shady past where, in his own words, the manipulation of the women he worked with was key to his business. But I don't know the legality of any of this. And to be fair to Andrew, none of it has been proven in a court of law yet. But to his followers and any fans or fellow fans out there, you can't actually play dumb and pretend that there isn't any smoke at all. I think that would be intellectually dishonest. And at some point you have to be objective and reevaluate what you thought of this guy. And I think if there's any lesson to be learned here is that no matter how much good a person has done for you, they are still capable of doing very, very bad things. And that's been proven by a ton of different celebrities and people who have been in situations of power. Now, I'm still hoping Tate is telling the truth when he says all of this stuff is made up, but where there's smoke, there's fire, and there's a shit ton of smoke here, and it's not by accident that you can't find these videos online anymore. He's taken them down for a reason.